Hi.
Hey.
And don't worry, you won't even know I'm here.
I doubt that.
Best friend.
Publish it.
Liar.
She told you.
She tells me everything.
Warned.
So which room should I take? The usual one? She means my old room. And, tuck back in now.
So, guys, I mean, it's been, I think it's 17 years since Lantana, and now you're back working in a film together. I mean,
Yes.
It's a long time between drinks.
It is a long time, yeah.
How's it been?
It's been awesome. It's been great. I mean, it's, you're right, it has been a long time, but what's kind of cool in that time is we've all gone on and had our own careers, and then to be able to come back, because Susie was the same. I worked with Susie 17 years ago, we worked together. And then to be able to come back on a project like this that really is a three-hander, and then with Marty Sachs and Susan Pryor, to be able to do that and to have that wealth of experience and to be on set was just great.
There was that, but then also on the flip side of that, it felt like nothing had changed either. You know,
Kind of did, didn't it?
Yeah, it's. We did a little bit of work together on Lantana. Yeah. Rachel and I, we were neighbours in that, and one thing I remember about Rachel is her great sense of humour. And when we got back and we did this again, and working together again, it was still there, luckily.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
And apparently so was mine. So it worked well, and it was a real joy to know that people I admire very, very much in the female talent that we had in Susie and in Rachel, and of course Susan Pryor, who I don't work with in the film, but knew that she was there and supporting this great film, and of course Mairi Cameron, who was the director, and Leanne Tonkes, who produced it. So a lot of females, and I don't know. I
Yes, she was surrounded.
I was surrounded, and I felt quite comfortable a lot of times because of that. And, women get things done, and they make you they can make you feel quite comfortable about all that too. You know, so that was good.
Yeah. And what was it about the actual script that, when you read it, you went, wow, I've got to read this?
I just loved the unpredictable nature of it. I loved the trajectory of all of those characters. There wasn't one character that I didn't find fascinating in their own right. And I loved the way the story changed and shifted according to where they were and what they were doing and what they were talking about. I loved that it started as something cerebral and as a... that Kit, that the writer is quite an intellectual, sophisticate, and that she ends up, you know, screaming down the highway out of a Mercedes-Benz with a gun chasing a publisher. Like, I love that we traverse that gamut.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I was like...
I'm in.
Yeah, yeah.
It was supported by so many people. This film was supported by groups and groups of people that wanted to be a part of this film, you know, whether it be financially, whether it be artistically, or whether it just be, you know, the actors who wanted to be a part of it. We were all really excited about it. So, you know, in my mind, I thought, it's not just me. You know, when you feel something, is it just me or is it everybody?
Yeah.
And at the end of the read, I felt, no, it is everybody.
Yeah, it's everybody,
and it is everybody, and what an exciting thing to be a part of. So it wasn't just happening in my head, which is always a worry with me, that other people are feeling it too. Whenever I read a script, I go, oh, that was good. Can you read it and tell me it was good for you too? And it's hard to trust yourself sometimes. But with this, it was great. Then when we were all on the same page, when we started doing it, we were all as excited as each other about making this little film. And
can I jump in?
Please.
You know what else was really cool? It's because everyone's so experienced, and everyone's so strong. I mean, everyone's such a strong character, really, in their own right, as actors and directors and everything. We could get together on set and argue things. Like, you can always talk about perspective and how it works. You know, like for us in scenes, talking about where to pitch it. And with Mairi, we would play a scene a few different ways and test it out, which is great. I mean, I find that sort of work really interesting. There was always a chance you might get your way, but you had to be able to defend it and have a rigour in the script.
And if you didn't, that was okay too.
Yeah, that was okay too, because do you know what? If he's going to argue with me that that's not right, what you're doing, Rach, is not right, I don't agree with you, we need to be, you know, the scene where we're arguing. Remember we were going down the stairs and I was like, no, I don't think it should. And you're like, no, you've got to be at me. Yeah. And so we were, you know, and then Mairi would come and we would discuss it and work it. I mean, that kind of rigour really interests me. It's exciting. Like you go home and you go, it's a cool day.
Yeah, it's a great day. Yeah, and justifying things that we want to do and we want to try in different senses, and also having the chance to do it two different ways.
Yeah.
You know,
I love
we
all
don't
that.
do it the way that Rachel wanted it, and then maybe do it the way I wanted to do it.
And then
maybe
finally
and it went back to Rachel's way.
Yeah, then it went back to the director's way.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. I mean, that saying that a film is shot 3 times, or or a story is told 3 times. Once when you write it, once when you shoot it, and once when you edit it. You know, I love the idea that we can get together on set and have a rigor around something, and then push it around, and then shoot it, and then Mairi takes it away, and ultimately it's her story. It's her perspective.
Yeah.
You know, reflected through the writer's script, so through Stephen's work.
Probably is the type of film that you could go back into the editing room
and do a whole new film.
Make a new film. Totally new film.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously your characters get pretty up close and personal in this film. I mean, so...
Well said.
Yes, nice and polite. So, I mean, how do you prepare for some of those scenes? I mean, did you read them in the script and kind of go,
Go to the gym? Go for lots of runs.
Do you know, half the preparation was knowing, for me, it was Gen Z in the other side, because I felt safe with Vince. And then, because those scenes, remember that day that we shot all those scenes?
Totally. I'll never forget them.
It.
But, no, for me, it was... Again, I was really comfortable with the fact that it was obviously Rachel.
Yeah.
And having a female director in that situation was a comfort that I had never felt before. I've done that type of scenes before, those intimate scenes before, and they've been mostly male directors. And for me, I felt like the male directors, you know, to their credit, you know, and the situation they were in, and with the crew and everyone around them, they were nearly apologetic about it, rather than going for it. Mairi would say, just do this, and she'd just pull the sheets down a little bit further, and, you know, we need to see a bit more of that, and she'd pull a bit of that over, and it's like, wow, she's no shame at all. This she's not going to have to apologise to anyone either, you know, which is great. And I just thought, okay, cool.
And I must say we did, because I was quite particular about, well, what is the shot and what's the angle.
Yeah.
And so, and then knowing that I was with Vince, like, remember I'd say, you put your hands there and don't move them. And so we'd work out what we would touch and what we wouldn't touch. And I mean, what's great about having a female director on set was the level of communication we had around that, because I was really nervous.
Of course you were. I understood.
Can you talk a little bit about, to finish off, shooting in that house? I mean, it was an amazing location, so it must have been, for you as actors, it must have been incredible to be in this amazing location.
Yeah.
For us in that location, we've been talking about this, I feel like I've talked about it forever, but it's absolutely worth it. That location was in itself a character in the film. And the house was magnificent. And being in that house, there was a real intimacy about never ever having to move from that house, number one. Although we did do scenes outside the house. But mainly, you know, the mass of the story is told in the house. And knowing that we were there always together, finding the different angles, finding the different rooms that we could use, and the different corridors, and the different way we, you know, that Mark Wareham would light the scenes and light the corridors and so forth, was exciting and was a thrill, you know, to experiment with the place and experiment with the lines and the different rooms and the different spaces and so forth.
But also, great. When you get to somewhere like that's such a sprawling mansion and has obvious wealth, it really does give you the script. I mean, when we sort of got there, I felt like I understood the story just a little bit better, because I was like, right, so she comes from this kind of money, right.
It's not like we had to dress it, we had to undress
Didn't
it
have
nearly.
to dress
we really
it.
had to undress it a little bit, you know, it was all there. It was
all those, you know, normally you have one side table. In that 100-metre hallway, there must have been 15 side tables.
Amazing. It was absolutely amazing. You felt like this is it. It was. I felt like the designers had been there for weeks, but they hadn't. They'd put up a couple of things and moved a few things around, but it was all there, and so it was perfect. They found the perfect location, and I think that's a credit to the crew and the people who found that, and a credit to the film.